Hello and welcome. My name's Super Saiyan and this is your weekly news and pre-order video coming to you Saturday the 13th of January. Firstly, the news. I'd like to just say thank you to everybody that has joined in and voted on the Warhammer Heroes event type of thing. For a time you could go onto the Warhammer community website and post who you think is your Warhammer hero. I think it's a worthwhile thing to do, you know, just to nominate, and it also gives Games Workshop a fair bit of feedback, and I like that interaction that they're having with all of us right now. They go on to say that they're looking at each of the nominations in detail, and then they're going to be in touch with victors. They don't really call them winners, and I think recognition is the best reward than like a little medal or t-shirt, something like that. I've always said that. Anyway, the big news that sort of dropped when I did the last pre-order video was Custodes. I have a large Custodian Guard army. They started off in plastic. They've always been in plastic. Forge World built on that and brought out a load of models in resin to add to the range. Games Workshop brought out 7th edition rules. There was like a mini codex thing in the Talons of the Emperor box set. So it has been around. They have been around. You have been able to use them in the last edition. They were one of the sort of later releases in that edition. So it's great to hear that they're now getting their codex. Obviously we've had like 10 codexes up until Christmas, and then we've got the Chaos Demons 40k codex this month. Next month we'll have, according to the release schedule, we'll have Custodian Guard and Thousand Suns, and then I think we've got Necrons and Tau coming up. I think Orcs coming in June, so unfortunately I have to wait until sort of summertime. By then I think I might have built that battle force, so stay tuned to the channel all the way there. I've read some comments on videos and things and on various websites, and there's quite a lot of people that sort of disagree with Games Workshop's sort of decision to add yet more Imperial stuff. It sells, there's no denying that. Space Marines, most popular army, they're gonna be making things that sell. All the Forge World stuff, I'm assuming, is selling very well. They pumped out a super heavy flyer that's almost £300, the Orion dropship, within about a year or so. So if that's anything to go by, they want to build on that with Custodian Guard. A lot of people, all through the Forge World releases last year, I heard a lot of comments, a lot of people wanted their Custodian Guard, these Forge World models, in their 8th edition, and they weren't going to buy any sort of Custodian Guard until they were released in 8th edition. So it's nice to see them getting a codex. If that means that Games Workshop then have the funds to put more into R&D and fleshing out more Xenos armies and things like that. I mean, just look at Nergal at the moment, you know, with the models they're bringing out. But for the Necrons and Tau, I'm a bit sceptical. If it's anything like sort of like the Eldar or Craftworlds and the Tyranids, then I think those two releases, they might have one model new. Who knows? I'm just speculating here, but I've got a feeling that it's going to be like the other releases, where they'll release the codex and they'll just change the boxes. Maybe they might even bring some old models out from, you know, wherever. But I'm holding out for Orcs. I'm holding out for some new looking Orcs, new Orc models and things. So, you know, here's to that. I mean, to be fair, we have had Eldar and Tyranids and you know, Death Guard, and now we've just had, you know, Nergal all this month. So back to Imperial next month in February, but you've also got some you know, Thousand Suns and Tzeentch stuff, I mean, you know, in relation to the Chaos Demons Codex, and then it'll go back to the Xenos. So yes, there are some Imperial kind of releases coming out, but they're sort of sandwiched in between you know, other factions and races and things. So yes, that was the news. Look, there's the codex. That's the same image as the sort of mini codex for 7th edition. There, you've got a picture here, look. The new models, I haven't watched anybody's videos about this release at all, so this is just me looking at them now. From what it looks like there's a box set of sort of 3 Alaris, which could possibly be those Terminators. You know, 3 Terminators. They're sort of doing a Forge World, and, you know, because Forge World Custodian Guard Terminators come in a box of 3. They all look to be the same base size, which is odd because I think my Aquilian Terminators have larger bases, so that's going to be interesting. And they don't look that much bigger than the normal Custodian Guard. But there you go, set of 3. you've got a new shield cap. That one was teased sort of last year. I think you've also got another box of, I want to say 5, but they've got 4 there. But I'd like to say 5. Another box with the cloaks. So you get your standard Custodian Guard set. This newer set. 3 in the Alarus, this shield captain guy. They're still using the crappy Contemptor Dreadnought and the, you know, almost sort of 20-year-old Land Raider, but they brought out these 3 jet bikes. I think they are quite short, but then again I can't see the back area, but they're definitely shorter, stubbier compared to the sleek, you know, Forge World ones. But they fit in well, I think. You got like this big sort of engine block thing on the top. And I do like their spears. I think they're going to be a lot less sort of fragile, you know, to move around and stuff and transport compared to the Forge World ones. But yeah, of course, you know, I'll be doing comparisons and things with those. So that was the big sort of news for the open day event. And also Thousand Suns. I don't know if there are any new models. I'm not up with Thousand Suns, but apparently you can use this thing in your Thousand Suns army, which I don't think you could use before. But that's that. And then a Battle Tome, Legions of Nagash, for Warhammer Age of Sigmar. So yeah, so that's coming out too. So yeah, a fair bit of news for that open day. Apologies that I couldn't cover it sort of on last week's video, but as I was editing it, all of the news and things and pictures were coming through. So that's it for the news. Let's hop on over to all the pre-orders for this weekend. So I'm at Forge World. They're doing a month of competitions. Now, to me, I think that it's going to be 4 weeks worth. The first week, you could basically you spend £50, so it's a good time to use that, you know, free delivery voucher that you may have got by purchasing something in December last year. But you spend £50 and you get automatically entered into a competition. You don't need to do anything else other than spend £50. It has to be £50 base, not like £40 and then £10 delivery or anything like that. It has to be the thing that you buy has to be £50. The first week, week 1, you could have entered into to win a Tyranid Hierophant Bio-Titan, which I think is £270 now. Week 2 last week, you could enter in to get an Eldar Revenant Titan. Again, I think that's about £250 odd or so. And then this week, you can enter in to get a Ta'unar or Taunar Supremacy armor. Basically their sort of version of a Titan. It looks like they're kind of keeping this competition to about £250 or so. They're not really breaking £300. So I don't know whether week 4 will be a Warhound Titan or even a Thunderhawk or Reaver. I doubt it. Week 4 is going to be a Warlord, put it that way. It'd be nice if it was, I suppose. You know, a Warhound Titan with the weapons would be about £370 or so now. So it's going to be interesting to see what they have for week 4. They will announce that, I think it's sort of first thing Friday, because the competition runs sort of Friday to Thursday every week. So yeah, you've got this week and then you've got a final week. But pre-order wise, we'll go into new, and there isn't really any new pre-orders. If we just go to new releases, all they've done is they've just create some bundles which I think have appeared before, and you are saving a little bit of money. It's Maths Cat's day off today, so she hasn't been able to, you know, give me the savings and things. But yeah, if you haven't got any of these models, I mean, if you've got 1 or 2 and you don't actually mind getting a repeat of them, then it's still worth it. But yeah, you are saving a little bit of money getting these sets, unlike sort of Games Workshop's bundles that they do. So you've got everything here. You've got a Legion Vanguard collection. I would get this if I didn't have the Praetors and the Leviathan, because the Assault Marines and the Siege Iron Armour 3 Marines are pretty decent. You've got Eidolon's Strike Force, Clan Branzar, Sevatar's Strike Force, and Typhon's Chosen. Then the Horus Heresy Complete Rules Collection, £140. The Rulebook, £40, and some digital editions. And then you've got a Mark III Legion Starter Collection. I won't talk about the ones out of stock, but they're basically out of stock. And so is the Space Wolves Legion Praetor. So however bad that model people thought it was, proportion, bananas, whatever, it is out of stock. and that's the first time I've seen a model like this out of stock, you know, within a few days. So they either made about 5 of them, or a fair amount of people, Space Wolf players, like the model. So there you go. I mean, I think they've got the Space Wolf Terminators, the Horus Heresy Terminator coming out as well, so he'd go quite well with those. So that's everything with the Forge World, so not really any new releases. So we'll have to check back next week to see if there's anything new. However, if we hop on over to Games Workshop, you've got the remainder of the Nergal releases. So if we go on new and exclusive, and we go to pre-orders, you've got this week's pre-orders, £95. You get the Beast of Nergal, the Puss Blight Lords, the Sloppity Bile Pipe, and the Lord of Blights. So you're not saving any money there, and it's £95, and that is for 5 models, which is, yeah, pretty expensive. Almost £100 for 5 models. That's, yeah, very, very expensive. The Beast of Nergal, £25. When it was sort of teased in their video, I was hoping, you know, like a lot of people I suppose, for a box set of sort of 4 or 5, but no, just one for £25. Let's have a look at this Beast of Nergal. I do like it. I think it's a shame that it's only in sort of one pose, whichever sort of face and things you go for. Yes, the hand is different. You've got a webbed sort of hand there, and you've got all of his organs and things, you know, but you've got a different face and sort of headdress thing, but the pose is exactly the same. The left arm is down, resting, and then the right hand is up. Would have been nice if they had another pose, though, rather than just that one, because if you get 2 and you want one that looks a little bit different with the different head, they're going to be in the same pose, aren't they? Let's face it. It's a huge improvement over the previous one, I really do think, which looks something like that. So yeah, I think it's a huge improvement over that. That one was resin, but it was £15.50 or £15. So yeah, that's what you're paying for. You're paying, you know, sort of £10 more or so to have it in plastic. Probably more detail, definitely more customizable, because you make sort of 2 versions of it. But yeah, there's the wiggly wobbly sort of head sort of thing. You also get this sort of almost Slanesh looking one, especially with that colour scheme. That's the Beast of Nergal. I do like the head dress thing, the hair or whatever you want to call them. Very reminiscent of Final Fantasy, the Marlboro enemy. If you've ever played any of the Final Fantasies, it normally does make an appearance in there. But yeah, I do like the model, but I think £25 is a fair bit, but we'll have to see sort of size wise what's happening with it. Then you've got the Puss Blight Lords, again another sort of release that I think is quite a lot of money, £40. You know, I just can't get over seeing sort of 3 of them. I know they're not the same, but 3 of them in the start collecting set for £50, and you get all of those other units and things. For me, I just can't get past that. But yeah, they probably are bigger, but it's difficult to sort of see. I mean, you compare it to like a little Nurgling, they kind of look the same size as the rot flies, but they do have this immensely detailed sort of Blight Lord on top of them, and they do have things like this. They don't have the flying stands. The bottom of the model is integrated with the base, which is fantastic. So they do have a lot of pluses for that price point. And you do get a purple Nurgling. Well, what am I saying? You can colour your Nurglings any colour, can't you? But yeah, they do look impressive. But yeah, you're paying a good premium for that. Would look like a fantastic couple of models in a, you know, Age of Sigmar Nergal army. And then a couple more pre-orders. You've got the Sloppity Bile Piper. Great looking model. I really like this, but then again, they've really outdone themselves with the paint schemes for these Nergal models. I love all the faces here. You've got the face here. You've got this one. Face value, it looks like it's got a cigar, but he's not. He's just, you know, got the sort of bagpipe or bile pipe, whatever you want to call it. And pretty much this is what happens to a plague bearer that sort of crosses the line and is a bit too exuberant compared to in front of the spoilpox. Basically, he's got the power to turn you into one of these. And there's a little Nurgle in there. Great looking little model. But yeah, the colours and the paintwork is just stunning. Yeah, and all the highlighting and extra highlighting. Yeah, fantastic model. Really like that one. £15, quite decent as well. I think that should be sort of the right price for sort of Death Guard, Nergal kind of miniatures of that size, and it does have a lot of detail. And then finally, the Lord of Blights, another sort of Age of Sigmar model. It's got this great corroded sort of hammer chiseled away. We've got this grin from his one eye, and then he's got like 3 sort of burst spots with a load of maggots coming out, and some bells, and a nice sort of fly 3-symbol Nergal shield. Yeah, fantastic looking model, £15 as well. Can't really go wrong with that one. That'd be a joy to paint on quite a big base too. And that's pretty much it for the pre-orders. You've got a load of collections that you can buy. So you've got a tally band of Nergal, you get a great unclean one, plague bearers and heralds, bar pipers, Nurglings, a load of rot flies. You don't get, it doesn't look like you get any Puss or Blight lords, but I might be completely wrong there. No, you don't. It doesn't look like you do get them. Okay, because sometimes they have a picture of sort of a load of models on there, and they're missing some that's in the description. So just be wary of that you might get more than, you know, what sort of a picture of. Nergal's Menagerie, £193. You just get 2 feculent Narmors and 3 beasts of Nergal, 3 Nurglings, and some rotflies, and Slimucks. Affliction Cyst, £160. So you're just getting 4 sets of the £40 Puss Goils. Slime Hounds, just getting the 3 beasts of Nergal. And Lord of Afflictions, that is basically the Puss Goil. You can make the Lord of Afflictions instead of the Puss Goil. Then you've got a few books. So you've got Rogue Trader, paperback, Omnibus, £15, Dark Imperium finally in paperback. That's a great sort of introduction to Primaris and Guilliman sort of awakening and stuff, and the introduction to them, and a little crusade. Basically, obviously it takes place sort of 100 years after Primaris, and there's a bit of Belisarius Cole in there as well. Warden of the Blade, again, paperback, £8.99. So yeah, not a heavy pre-order week for them. You're basically getting 4 models. You're just getting a bit of a clean-up from the... I say clean-up. You're getting a bit of the tail end of the Nurgle releases, you know, from last week. Last week was very heavy, especially when you're releasing like an £85 model. Interesting that they did that, and they've done it so quick. I know we've only got sort of a couple more weeks left of January, so it sort of paves the way for Custodes and Thousand Sons. But you look at what they did with Death Guard. I think they released the Death Shroud Terminators with Mortarion, but I want to say it was just Mortarion and the Codex. They generally have the big £85 model as a release on the week itself. They could have dragged out this release. They really could. They could have had the Great Unclean one week, and then they could have had the, you know, a week of just the single characters. So yeah, this release could have gone on for a month, and it probably would have been a bit easier on people's bank accounts. Anyway, that is the end of my pre-order video. I hope you've enjoyed it. I can't thank you enough for tuning in every week, every day as well, and watching these videos. It really does mean a lot to me, especially when you leave me a comment saying thank you and, you know, keep up the good work and stuff. It keeps me motivated. I don't get paid to do any of this. This is a hobby, and I'm not sent anything for free either. I'm just really grateful that I have this opportunity to share my passion with you all. And with that, thank you ever so much for joining me today. Thank you for watching. Papa bless.